Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So, before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So, shout out to everybody who is in the room. Shout out to everybody that came from the last stream, and shout out to the people that are just joining on this stream. It is good to see each and every one of you guys. I hope you guys are starting your day out good, starting the year out good. Y'all already know what we about to do over here. All right. So shout out to y'all. It's good to see everybody. If you guys can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up or radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys are not able to hear me, please give me a thumbs down or an angry face. All right. Excuse me. And we are going to get right into it. All right. What we're going to be talking about today is what is popping in Venezuela. Now, you guys all know Nicolas Maduro is the president of Venezuela. He survived an attempted assassination and an attempt to install a puppet government. And I believe that took place during the years of Trump's presidency, if I'm not mistaken. The individuals that attempted to do this to him are still in custody. Now, during the time when the United States first sanctioned Russia, right, during the Ukraine conflict, Russia said they were not going to sell any gas to the United States. You guys remember that? One of the places that Joe Biden tried to get some gas from, some reserve fuel, was Venezuela. Now, guess what else? Where are a lot of the migrants coming from? A lot of the migrants are coming from Venezuela. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not mistaken, Venezuela is an ally of Russia, a close ally of Russia. That can't make the United States very happy. So, knowing all of that, we also know that Guyana recently announced the discovery of a major fossil fuel reserve. How many people were aware of that? If you guys were aware of that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys were not aware of that, give me a thumbs down. Knowing all of that information, setting the stage for the story, now we're going to get into it. Because we're going to have to ask some questions. How many people heard about this? Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro mobilizes 5,600 troops after Britain sends warship to Guyana amid territorial dispute. How many people knew that there was a territorial dispute going on in Guyana? Shout out to Patrick. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to JW. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. How many people knew about that? So you got the Venezuelan military with 5,600 troops deep posted and on guard because Britain sent a warship to Guyana amid a territorial dispute. Why does Britain have any interest in Guyana? That's my question for you guys. And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate each and every one of you all for watching. We got 36 people If everybody can take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit that bell and subscribe to the channel, please take a moment, hit the bell, and subscribe to the channel. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro ordered the mobilization of more than 5,600 troops in response to the deployment of a British warship to the coast of Guyana as tensions emerged over the oil-rich territory. So I want people to pay very close attention to the repeating theme in historical events. Where there's non-white people, there are always rich natural resources. And then magically, white people control the resources. This is a theme that you can see all over the entire planet, where there's people who are not white and indigenous to a particular area. There's lush, plentiful amounts of natural resources. And then magically, somehow the global minority just owns them. That has to change. This is our side of the world, the Western Hemisphere. What is a British warship doing here if it's not dealing with the United States? Just ask yourself that question. That's ours because we said so. We just took it. And if you think that because we damaged you in extorting you and you think that you're owed any kind of recompense, you're a victim. It's got to change, man. It's got to change. You know what I'm saying? So now I want to ask you guys this question. Why do you think that there's tensions over the quote unquote oil rich territory? The dispatch of the vessel was seen as a signal of support for the former British colony, prompting Venezuelan ruler to put his military on high alert in response to the provocation and threat of the UK against peace and the sovereignty of our country, Maduro said. It is the breaking of the spirit of dialogue, diplomacy, and peace of the agreements, Maduro said last week after he learned about the ship's deployment, calling it practically a military threat from London. Now, here goes my question. Do you all agree with Maduro? Shout out to Lena. What's good with it, Lena? If you guys agree with Maduro, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. I agree with him. They don't have any business over there. They didn't have any business having that as a colony. When are they going to have to fix all of the damage from all of these quote unquote colonies that they had? Colonies. Just got, it's not Asian and African colonies all over the world. There's only one group of people that has quote unquote skeleton colonies all over the world. Why is that? See, people need to sit down and answer these questions. And there's no good reason. So now here it says in a televised address, Maduro said he directed the Bolivian National Armed Forces to take joint defensive actions off the coast of Essequibo but he did not offer details about the mobilization. We believe in diplomacy, in dialogue, and in peace, Maduro said. But no one should threaten Venezuela. No one should mess with Venezuela. We are men of peace. We are a people of peace. But we are warriors, and this threat is unacceptable for any sovereign country, he said. On December 24th, the British Ministry of Defense announced deployment of the patrol vessel HMS Trent to Guyana as part of a series of engagements in the region, but did not mention the ongoing dispute between South American neighbors. So let's take a listen to what they say here on WION about it. Let's see.
Venezuela has launched a defensive military exercise over the threat from a British warship. Around 5,600 troops will participate in the drill on Venezuela's border with Guyana. This after the UK announced diversion of its patrol vessel HMS Trent to the area, amid an ongoing territorial dispute between the two South American nations.
So today we have issued a statement of condemnation, of rejection, in which Venezuela resolves all constitutional actions within the framework of international law to defend our territorial integrity, our waters, our Atlantic, and our national sovereignty. That is why I have ordered the activation of a joint action of the entire Bolivarian National Military Armed Force on the Eastern Caribbean of Venezuela.
Reports say the British ship is due to arrive in Guyana on Friday, and it will stay in the area for less than a week. Earlier, UK's Defence Ministry had said that the vessel will visit the country's ally for former colony as part of a series of engagements in the region. It did not mention the ongoing dispute. The dispute is over a 62,000 square mile territory called Essequibo. The region is a part of the English-speaking Guyana region, but it has been claimed by Venezuela for the last 2 centuries. The row took a dramatic turn when in 2015 major oil and gas discoveries were made in the region.
So there you go right there. There you go right there. So that right there is one of the reasons why you see the British warship snooping around over there. Now, anytime you see something like a British warship or something like that snooping around in your backyard, you need to make sure that it is completely gone and that you send a strong message. Don't come back or you'll be completely gone. Because if you don't, next thing you know, 300 years later, your descendants will be telling stories about how you got robbed. And then you'll be fighting with people about how what they did was just a necessary evil, and the evil that they did was necessary for the world to move forward because they're just so much more advanced than everybody else. If you see it, get it the hell out of there. Don't talk to it. Don't try to rationalize with it. Make it gone would be my advice.
Earlier this month, Guyana and Venezuela agreed to avoid the use of force and avoid increasing tensions over the border dispute. However, the UK's decision has provoked Venezuela. President Nicolas Maduro says it is the breaking of the spirit of dialogue, diplomacy, and the peace of the agreements. He says that the deployment is practically a military threat from London. Meanwhile, Guyana President Irfan Ali has sought to reduce tensions. He said on Thursday that neither Venezuela nor any other state has anything to fear from activities within Guyana's sovereign territory or waters. Guyana's vice president had earlier said the British warship's visit was part of a long-planned and routine measure to build the country's defenses.
I don't think that Venezuela wants British military activity that close to Venezuela. And I think that's what one of the big issues is. And honestly, being that Nicolas Maduro is a survivor of a white supremacist puppet government attempted coup, I would tend to side with Maduro's logic on this. But when you have all of the money and there's no resources or assets that can compete with money, that makes a situation where people can always be bought. And I think the issue that Maduro is dealing with is that those politicians in Guyana are on the take from the UK. Oh yeah, big facts, JW. The Guyana people, there's a large population of quote unquote Indian people, exactly like Kamala, who are descendants of indentured servants, not slaves. Yet they have a study going on at a British university to attempt to get those people reparations from a particular British family. Now, that's the ruling class of that country. The same way the white ruling class tried to overthrow Nicolas Maduro's OG in Venezuela. You know what I'm saying? Guerrera, I think his last name was. So these people are operating off the European installed caste system, translated here to the United States as what we call racism. See, like the caste system is easier to install in the colonial model. You could just be flat out racist when you own people here in the United States. But they're cousins from the same family. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the controversy erupted after Maduro announced a plan to tap natural oil reserves in the Essequibo region, which is commonly acknowledged as land belonging to Guyana. However, Venezuela renewed its claim to the 62,000 square mile area following major discoveries of oil and gas in recent years. And according to the news report that we just listened to from WION, it said that Venezuela had been claiming that land for a long time. So they didn't just claim it because of the oil and gas. And Venezuela has its own gas and oil reserves. You know what I'm saying? And even if Venezuela is moving on them to extort them for gas and oil, it's not like that's not why what's going on over in the Middle East that the United States is so involved in it in funding is going on. So we got the kettle calling the pot black. However, the dispute heated up recently after Venezuelans voted in favor of turning Essequibo region into a new state for Venezuela, while also passing a measure to block the International Court of Justice from intervening. Earlier this month, Guyana and Venezuela signed an agreement to avoid military conflict in the light of elevated tensions. Now, I want you guys to understand something, right? These borders that are set up, these are borders that white supremacist colonists set up, which is one of the reasons why there's all these territorial conflicts all over the world. Europe is responsible for the majority of territorial conflicts all over the world because they've displaced people and they've cut land borders down places that didn't have land borders and created no borders in places where there were no borders. And they did it in the very reason of people having long-term conflict so that they could walk in while people are fighting with each other and take their shit. What black person or what indigenous person drew any border that exists today in Africa or in South America? All these borders that the UN, like, I want literally the entire map is a white supremacist dictation of how white people want the world. Then you'll have somebody on Fox crying because they said, "Oh my God, they even said the map is racist." Well, who carved up the countries? And why did they carve up the countries? Yes, the map is racist. The map is racist. Your ancestors suck, and they put you in an eternal soul debt that's gonna get cashed in one of these days. You know what I'm saying? Don't let the hubris fool you. All of this chest poked out, all of this nonsense that these people talk, it is not bravery. It is fear. Because I'll tell you what, man, when I do something slightly shady, even if it's slightly shady, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to you like I don't do nothing slightly shady. I'm a shady motherfucker. Like, I do slightly shady shit. I kind of have a little bit of a worry sometimes about some karma. You know what I'm saying? Be like, maybe I shouldn't have done that because some shit going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Man, I would hate to have that avalanche of karma on my back that some people got. You know what I'm saying? I would hate that. Glad it ain't me. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say. But, to the people that do have to deal with that on the back of their minds every day, carrying that through the world, they tend to lash out. They know that as time goes on, time is not their friend. And as time goes on, the stitches start to unravel. And they continue to unravel. And this lie of a world that we live in is moving towards where all of the stitches are going to be unraveled. And there's a lot of people that know that when those stitches are fully unraveled, it's not going to be a good time period for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing how when it comes to these type of conflicts and these type of situations, they never talk about the backstories. Now, my question for you guys is, why do you think that is? And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. We are really starting this year out with a bang, which is what's up. And we're going to keep banging. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 48 people watching and we got 46 likes. If we can get those likes up to 70, that would be great. Also, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed to the channel, take a moment, hit that bell icon twice. Also, follow my backup channels and follow my other social media as well. You could also watch on Twitter, Rumble, Twitch. Shout out to Black Spider. What's good with it? And I got to agree with, if you guys agree with Katsy, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Because they want history memory hold. Facts. Super facts. And that's another thing that we're going to start doing too. We're going to start referencing history articles. They're going to be streams about that. So I hope you guys like them. But I think that is very important because I think a lot of things are starting to repeat. And I think that people should really pay very close attention to the trends. And the reason is because history does tend to repeat itself, which is one of the reasons why Ron DeSantis wants it out of the schools. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Venezuela says troops will stay deployed until British military vessel leaves waters off Guyana. I don't blame him. I do not blame him. And I would do the exact same thing because British vessels are not trustworthy at all. Yeah, shout out to Crew Royalty. What's good with it, bro? So now here it says Venezuela said Saturday that it will continue to deploy nearly 6,000 troops until a British military vessel sent to neighboring Guyana leaves the waters off the coast of the two South American nations. In a video posted to X, Venezuelan Defense Minister Vladimir Pedrino appeared surrounded by military officers in front of a marked up map of Venezuela in Guyana, a former British colony. So again, we got to ask the question, why and how was Guyana a quote unquote British colony? Now, why does the UN and all these other places acknowledge British extortion as legitimate territories? Now, if that colony was obtained in a way that would be against UN protocols, I feel that those countries that were involved in that should be sanctioned, and they should not be looked at as legitimate British territories. No British territory is legitimate territory at all. No British ownership is legitimate ownership at all. All the royal jewels and the crown and all of that stuff should be returned to the places where they were stolen from. So now here it says Pedrino said the forces are safeguarding our national sovereignty, and I agree. Armed forces have been deployed not just in the east of the country, but across the entire territory, he said. They will be there until this British imperialist boat leaves the disputed waters between Venezuela and Guyana. He called it a British imperialist boat. I'm not mad at that. That's facts. That's absolutely a British imperialist boat. And I'm not trying to be funny, but British imperialist boats have a bad habit of bringing diseases and bad fortune, especially when it's not coming to some place where there's white people at. Shout out to KO Kid Fit. What's good with it, bro? So now here it says the defense ministry confirmed to the Associated Press that the video was made at a military base in Venezuela's capital, Caracas. The video comes after weeks of tension between the two countries over Venezuela's renewed claim to a region in Guyana known as Essequibo, a sparsely populated stretch of land roughly the size of Florida that is rich in oil and minerals. So now you know that's the reason why the UK, the British vessel was over there. The British vessel was over there for humanitarian aid for the British. You know what I'm saying? They were over there to provide humanitarian aid for the British. Operations generate some $1 billion a year for the impoverished country of nearly 800,000 people that saw its economy expand by nearly 60% in the first half of this year. So what I want you guys to understand is the hustle here. These white European nations destroy these non-white countries. Then they steal the resources and process the resources and manufacture them. Then they turn around and act like they're doing a charitable job to try to rebuild the countries by investing money back into the countries. And then they turn around and get a 60% return on investment. And then call themselves hard workers. Venezuela has long argued that it was cheated out of the territory when Europeans and the U.S. set the border. Well, if you ask me, then if Europeans and the U.S. set the border, then it's clear that they absolutely got cheated out of the territory. Because who have Europeans and the United States ever done good business with? Who have they ever done honest business with? Is there anybody that can name any entity that the United States or quote unquote the Europeans have ever done any honest business with? So just by who drew the border, which is what it was funny because we just were talking about that, I'd have to immediately, until proven otherwise, believe what Venezuela said. Now, if you ask me, JW, it's all the same. Spanish, French, British, they all the same. You know what I'm saying? They no different. They've destroyed everywhere. They've destroyed the entire world. And they're benefiting from a destroyed post-apocalyptic world while trolling the people that they stole it from. You know what I'm saying? So, again, what I want to ask people is, why does the U.S. and the U.K. drawing a border in a sovereign country make it a legitimate border? Why does anybody honor that as an actual border? Yeah, I got a fact. Shout out to Patrick Taylor. I agree 100%. If you guys agree with Patrick Taylor, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Patrick Taylor says, sounds like Britain is behind the aggressiveness. The West wants to remove him and install an agreeable government. Facts. They want to have it where they can be comfortable and benefit from all of the wealth that they steal, while they have a controllable puppet like a Jim Clyburn-esque clown running operations. They do the corporate model. They want to get a good, faithful, hardworking middle manager so that the CEOs can play all day. You know what I'm saying? So they find some person that takes themselves too serious, that just wants a bunch of check marks on the paper to run the affairs. And there's always some low self-esteem having 5'3" clown that takes themselves too serious, that wants to be important to somebody. And the thing that's hilarious about it is that that person is not even important to those people, but those people will gaslight that person to have him do the best job that he can actually do. And they don't care about him at all. And that's one of the reasons why there's no retirement plan in cooning. Because they don't care about you at the end of the day. But people don't seem to understand that until they, until they find out the hard way. So now here says Guyana, which has controlled the zone for decades, says the original agreement was legally binding and the disputes should be decided by the International Court of Justice in the Netherlands. And it absolutely should not be. And the reason why they want this to be decided by this particular court is because that particular court is in the Netherlands, and that particular court automatically is going to be on the side of the puppet government in Guyana. Okay. So now here it says the centuries-old dispute was recently reignited with the discovery of oil in Guyana and has escalated since Venezuela reported that its citizens voted in a December 3rd referendum to claim Essequibo, which makes up 2/3 of its smaller neighbor. Critics of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, which is the United States, when they say critics of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, they're talking about the United States, France, the UK, Israel. Basically, the international white supremacist community. Because if you ask me, there's two international communities. There's the actual international community, which makes up Asia, Russia, and Africa. And then there's the white supremacist international community, which is the small amount of everybody else, including Arab nations. That's how I divide the map. I don't divide the map, you know what I'm saying, with colonizer lines. So critics of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro say that the socialist leader is using the tensions to distract from internal turmoil and stoke nationalism in the lead up to the presidential elections next year. In recent weeks, the leaders of Guyana and Venezuela promised in a tense meeting that neither would use threats of force against the other, but failed to reach an agreement on how to address their bitter dispute. Tensions came to another head with Friday's arrival in Guyana of the Royal Navy patrol ship HMS Trent, which officials said had been taking part in an operation combating drug smuggling in the Caribbean near the coast of Guyana. Most recently used to intercept pirates and drug smugglers off of Africa, the ship is equipped with cannons and a landing pad for helicopters and drones and can carry around 50 Marines. What the hell kind of drug deals was they trying to break up with that ship? what kind of drug deals were they trying to break up? They needed a warship for some drug deals? Okay. Maduro said that the ship's deployment violates the shaky agreement between Venezuela and Guyana, calling its presence a threat to his country. In response, Maduro ordered Venezuela's military, including air and naval forces, to conduct exercises near the disputed area. We believe in diplomacy, in dialogue, and in peace, but no one is going to threaten Venezuela, Maduro said. This is an unacceptable threat to any sovereign country in Latin America. Now, I think that this is a good thing to say, and it's an even better thing to stand behind if you have the resources and ability to enforce it. And honestly, I think that, when people start coming at us, people need to say something similar. If y'all agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, then give me a thumbs down. So now here it says Guyana's government rejected Maduro's claims, with officials saying that the visit was a planned activity aimed at improving the nation's defense capabilities and that the ship's visit would continue as scheduled. During talks earlier in December, Guyanese President Ifran Ali said his nation reserved its right to work with partners to ensure the defense of his country. So now, remember, we had made the assumption that Guyana was on the take. So I want to ask you guys this. When Ifran Ali says his nation reserves the right to, quote unquote, work with partners, who does he mean and what does he mean? Who does he mean and what does he mean? See, that's the question. Guyana has a military of only 3,000 soldiers, 200 sailors, and 4 small patrol boats known as Barracudas. While Venezuela has about 235,000 active military personnel in its Army, Air Force, Navy, and National Guard, noting that we do or have done nothing that we do or have done is threatening Venezuela. Guyana's Vice President BLRGeopolitics told reporters in Georgetown, the nation's capital. I would disagree. I would say that having the United Kingdom as a partner and them doing military drills near Venezuela is threatening to Venezuela. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about that. That's what I would say. You guys may disagree, or you guys may agree. Let me know what you think in the comment section. All right. Shout out to everybody that came through to the stream. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button for the last time. I definitely appreciate you. Also, don't go anywhere. Stay in the stream. It'll take you into the next scheduled stream. When you get there, hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel that it takes you to, subscribe to that channel. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Don't believe me? Come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie. Now I'm on your local TV. Y'all on tour. Got demons. Say she wanna come and see me when I'm in a local city. I'm like, pause though. Please step aside so they can see me. And I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. I'm the realest from my city. That's on my knee, that's on Kiwi, that's on mamas. Niggas don't believe me, come and see me. I been dodging all that fake. All these niggas working broke, but I been getting paid. All that know me from the street. Flexing for what feature, that's like every other week. Talk behind my back, I kick my feet up, have a seat. Cause at the end of the day, all these watching me as I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him, hold up.